Hey there, adventurers. Just really want to quickly let you know that in our recording this time, we had a little issue with our audio recording as we recorded this time. So Harley's audio was a little off the entire time, and we used some audio editing tricks to try and get it back to acceptable quality. Hopefully the recording is good and that it's worth sharing with you. I just wanted to give you a little heads up that we had a couple audio issues that you may or may not notice that showing up during our time. Thanks so much for supporting the show so far. We're on the road to 5K.
Spoilers ahead, brave listeners, and Chaos Clergy! If you've caught up in our secret tomfoolery, pause now, catch up, and return once your devotion and attention span are properly attuned. Previously on Thy Staff of Power. Deep beneath the museum dungeon of Arendor, our party came face to face with what they believed was their greatest threat yet. A grim and silent wight, shrouded in history and murder vibes. They prepared for battle, steel was drawn, spells were flung, morality was questioned, and then they won, but not before accidentally decapitating the poor soul. As it turns out, the wight wasn't a malevolent tomb guardian, he was a senile, long-forgotten compass scholar with a flair for the dramatic and absolutely zero understanding of modern personal space. The amulet, it belonged to his ancient circle of friends, powerful adventurers from a forgotten age. Good news, he was talkative. Better news, they took his still-animated head with them. Now a willing travel companion, regaling them with tales of ancient relics, wild exploits, and books. Lots and lots of books. The amulets responded to his presence glowing with new energy as its true potential awakened, suggesting there are more amulets scattered in cities across the land. A quest begins, but first, puzzles. Always puzzles. Specifically, a complicated ecclesiastical history logic trap because nothing says escape sequence like deciphering canonical discrepancies and hunting for heretical marginalia. With prayers, wit, and only one child trying to eat an ancient manuscript, they solved the final puzzle, unlocked the sanctum's gate, and emerged one step closer to truth, power, and probably more unintentional head trauma. The journey continues with a map of cities to explore and relics to find. Get your journals, your holy symbols, and maybe a better carrying pouch. This is Staff of Power.
Thy staff of power strikes the night. Lightning cracks a blinding light. Enemies tremble, lose their fight. The arcane rules we rise to smite.
Hello, welcome to Thy Staff of Power, the podcast where we roll some dice, try to play nice, and tell stories so righteous they'll have you turning the other cheek to listen. I'm your Dungeon Master, Kyle Lee, and we're playing D&D 24, the latest and greatest version of the game we all adore. If you're new to Dungeons & Dragons, it's a collaborative storytelling game where players create characters, give them names, roll dice to determine their fates, and work together to navigate a world full of challenges, choices, and consequences. Our tale takes place in the fractured realms. A tale takes place in the fractured realms. A world once guided by the moral compass, a divine artifact that helped people discern right from wrong and chart a righteous path forward. But now the compass is lost and the world is splintered into confusion and chaos. Kingdoms clash, factions rise, and everyone is scrambling to find their way. That's where our adventures step in. Before we dive in, just a quick note. Yes, this is a Christian podcast, but that doesn't mean we're handing out halos. Our adventurers aren't wearing What Would Jesus Do bracelets, and they won't always make the perfect choice. And that's okay, because sometimes the best stories come from the messiest moments. Expect a mix of fun, faith, and a little moral ambiguity as we journey together. So grab your sandals, your staff, and maybe some extra oil for your lamp, because we're setting out into the fractured realms in search of hope, truth, and the moral compass. So let's roll. Hey everybody, how we're doing today, even as I read the ad with the intro a little bit poorly.
Doing very good, Kyle. Thank you for grabbing us today.
So as we do this, we have some important housekeeping to do, because last episode we leveled up. Amazing. Insert party music right here. And we get to do some of the best levels in D&D, which is to leveling up to level 3, which means you get to pick your subclass, which is one of the greatest pieces that we're going to do. So let's discuss that a little bit on air. And we did some pre-work to make sure that this is not as boring as it could possibly be, and a lot of deliberation. But let's talk it through. We have each of us gets to pick a subclass now. Well, I don't, because I get to pick my subclass as a Dungeon Master, which is just Dungeon Master. But for the rest of you, we get to pick your subclass. So we have a couple options here. Tell me more about what you're thinking. Let's start with screen order. So let's go with Aaron first. What were you thinking in terms of what you're going to do subclass-wise?
Okay, subclass Archfey. Yeah, I'm doing the Archfey subclass, right? That's how you say it, right?
Archfey, that's correct. Yeah, what drew you to the Archfey in general?
Teleportation, baby. I'm trying to teleport and cause effects that stack on other effects.
Yeah. Mechanically, the Archfey is really strong. And plus, there's some whole vibes here where Archfays and Fays are like trickster spirits, and your character has an interesting relationship with trickster spirit.
Right. I'm sorry. I should have gone more into the storytelling of it all instead.
Well, that's okay. Yeah. Go for it.
Definitely the trickster spirits just so happen to be a very big part of my story line.
I mean, that's okay though. You were bleeding into your character. You were like, I'm very excited for raw power, and I get it now. And that's what a warlock is all about. So you got it. Awesome. Let's do left to right. So let's go Harley next. What did you pick and why?
I picked Echo Knight. Because I love solo. Like,
Yeah.
this is the closest to solo leveling, and maybe like Invincible if you're a fan of Duplicate, but I don't know if you'd ever want to do that. Sounds like a very traumatic.
Very 100%.
It's mostly, this is the closest to being a necromancer assassin build I can ever come to, unless you can do that in D&D. At least, yeah.
If you want to do that, we can discuss more because there's ways to kind of get there through magical items, or we could even add, like in 3rd and a half edition 3.5, they had prestige classes. So you got to go even fancier. At a certain point, if you want to build some custom prestige classes, I'm in for that. If you want to be a necromancer assassin, we can make that happen. But we'll have to make sure it's justified within the story. But I would love to do that. I love making classes. That's one of my favorite homebrew things to do. So definitely.
See, in a faith-filled podcast, I think that.
Ember's about to rebuke that.
Yeah, I rebuke that in the name of the compass. We'll see.
Okay.
All right. Kirby, what about you? What did you end up picking and why?
So I was torn between the life domain and the light domain because considering how like we struggled so hard, I was like, maybe the life domain, like maybe I could like save everybody in my campaign with that. But Ember-Lynne is literally a fire ganassi, and I think that alone just like pushes me towards the light domain, knowing that there's like Radiance of the Dawn, Warding Flare, Burning Hands, Fairy Fire, Scorching Ray, and then there's like Sea Invisibility, where I'm like, oh, okay. I really like all of them have to do with like fire and light, and I'm like, yes, that is Ember. So yeah, decided to go with that one, and I printed everything off because I'm like, I didn't realize as a cleric I would have so much stuff to keep up with, but I color coded it, so we'll see how it goes. And I feel like that's very Ember. So.
Well, yeah. So especially since most of y'all are very new to RPGs in general, but also you're new to D&D specifically, like Warlock and Cleric are some of the more complex classes you could have chosen. Harley chose very
The little rules that go with it.
Oh,
yeah.
I can tell what kind of Kirby was in school.
I got that medal. I got that top of the class. Let's go.
And I was bare minimum, barely made it through high school. //
Yeah. Hey, what's the answer on this question? A or B? I don't know. //
We definitely. I feel like all four of us would have definitely gotten paired up in a project, and I would have gone up to the teacher and been like, I need help. And then they would have been like, you need to help them. And I'd be like, okay. But it would be fun. We would have a good time.
We would have had a lot of fun. Aaron and I went to an arts high school. It was like Victorious' high school, but not like that.
That is literally my dream. I was stuck in public school.
Yeah.
There was no homework.
There was no.
Yeah, they didn't believe in homework because we needed to concentrate on developing our skills as artists.
Bro, your homework was literally go sing in the shower at home. Go take a shower. Oh, I'm over here like doing science experiments.
I know. We even with all that like encouragement to be better at our arts, we were like, great, we have so much free time. Let's like waste our time and procrastinate on everything.
Of course.
And look at where we're all at now. We made it. Here's to the ones, to the what.
Playing imaginary games at almost 30 years old. Yes.
I love it.
Okay,
My
great.
guidance counselor would be so proud.
Oh my God. Now I'm also thinking about like one of my favorite questions to ask people is like, if you and I, like with my friends, right, is if you and I knew each other in high school but our high school experience was a TV show, what would it be? And who are we in the TV show? And I think it's a wonderful question, right? Because like I absolutely would love to see a TV show, and like with Aaron and Harley, I thought about it. I was like, oh, like because we were friends like when I lived in New York, and I was like, well, Aaron would probably be the main character because he would fall in love with some girl, and it would be this very like emotional ride through his relationship, and me and Harley would be on the sidelines just being like comic relief, his like buddies who help him out, right? And like we have no romantic interest until like season 6 or 7 where we like find solid relationships, and Aaron is like Ted in How I Met Your Mother, and he's just like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Aaron, didn't really roasting you today. If any ladies are watching this, comment down below. Aaron's looking for his
Please don't. I'm in a very healthy relationship, super stable.
Oh, I did not know that. What about you? Really?
I'm single, so if there's any hacky Christian girls out there,
If you would like to be Harley's orc wife, you know, you can.
if you're taller than 5'10",
You got applications.
My God.
no, I'm waiting on the Lord.
Come to Reach Conference.
A man who finds the
Come
one.
to the Reach Conference.
Shot, roll some dice, play nice, reach conference. Anyway,
I was thinking, can I cosplay as Nightwing and just have my? Would that be a holy thing to cosplay?
People are going to cosplay about all sort of stuff, so absolutely, you could.
I'm gonna cosplay as Kyle Lee, my favorite DM.
What?
Oh my God.
Snapback in a glass.
It's gonna be so confused when we're on stage playing live together.
I will laugh so hard. Honestly, I would also cosplay as you. That'd be fun. We just cosplayed as each other, and I'm down for cross dressing. I did it all the time in high school for all my roles because I was constantly cast as
What? I feel like that's always the other way around. There's not enough girls for.
So I was in a lot of Shakespeare plays, so I had to constantly play female roles, and my first kiss was my guy friend playing Romeo, and I was Juliet. Nope, that was Phil. Yep.
You know, thy staff of power is also about redemption, and I'm sorry.
I honestly, going back to the sitcom of all of us in high school idea, I just don't know why. Kyle Lee's happily married right now, but in this sitcom universe where we're in high school, he's like hosting a D&D campaign with like cheerleaders somehow. And then me and Aaron's characters are like,
He's like, I said it would be for extra credit, and they bought it.
and now all the cheerleaders are like,
Prom with me.
all the cheerleaders are like, oh my God, like I'm absolutely gonna slay this dragon with my fireball spell.
Slay. That's so funny because I was a cheerleader in high school. I'm like, and I say slay all the time.
Okay, well,
Anyways,
okay, cool. These are cool tangents. I'm very down for them because honestly, this is all just about us having fun and having a good time. And I'm glad to talk more about the future of our sitcom at some other point because it's one of my favorite questions. It's a great question for people. And it also is fun to see how like little micro dynamics play out in your friendships and relationships. So, hey fam, Kyle, Dungeon Master for Thy Staff of Power, the D&D podcast here where holy meets hilarious. And guess what? We're doing a live show at Reach Conference 2025 on November 6th through 8th in Orlando, Florida. Yes, Thy Staff of Power on stage, in person, in full chaotic glory. But here's the twist. You can play a part in it. That's right. We're running a massive one-shot session before the live show, and the choices made in that game will directly affect the outcome of the live show and the future of the campaign. So you're not just going to watch the story unfold. You're going to step into the fractured realms with us. Will you smite a steward, save his soul, or just try to unionize the chair-stacking goblins? Who knows? That's up to you and the dice. Reach Conference is where Christian gamers, streamers, and cosplayers unite to learn, laugh, and maybe fight a bugbear or two in a safe, fully sanctioned fantasy environment. It's like a youth group lock-in, but everyone has better costumes and trauma-informed storytelling instead. So join us for the one-shot, stay for the live show, get your badge and all the holy deeds at www.reachconference.org, reachconf.org. That's www.reachconf.org. Again, Reach Conference 2025 on November 6th through 8th in Orlando, Florida. Anyway, let's get started with our session. Since we've picked that, we've leveled up, you picked some new spells or holy abilities, picked your subclass. So we're going to go right in. So let's get started here. Dungeon Master voice time. The wind carries the scent of salt and ambition as your ship cuts through the churning waters of the broken bay. Ahead, the free city of Karnak rises from the coastal cliffs like a jagged tooth, the towers of stone and iron. The free cities were never and have never been an empire. They are proud, independent, and fiercely divided. Here, loyalty is worth its weight in gold, and gold changes hands as easily as a whispered promise in your ear. It's been days since your return to Everstead. Harold's severed head in tow, amulets heavy with purpose and prophecy, and the path ahead made clearer. At the Sanctuary of the Eternal Compass, Stuart Gracefield and the other guild members listened closely to your tale, and soon after, they commissioned you a formal quest, with all the mystery that implies. After a short while, you gathered your things, said your goodbyes, and left town. You left Everstead without fanfare, making your way north to the great port city of Borist, and then from there, you booked passage aboard a modest merchant vessel, the Salted Coin, under guild contract for free passage. The sea this season is kind, the skies overcast and calm, but there are still dangers sometimes out in the oceans, so in exchange for lending your blades and spells as guardians of the ship, you are granted free passage, food, and 5 gold pieces each for your time. The journey takes several days, the ship hugging the jagged coast of the Stormshard Sea, passing Kalia's Reach and the Black Cliffs beyond. The crew is seasoned, the ship is quiet, and the hours are long. So, as Karnak rises on the horizon, I'm going to ask you, what did you take with you, if anything, from your stuff in Everstead? Did you bring anybody else along? And we can see if they agreed to come with you. And then also, what, if anything, did you discuss during the slow, salt-laced days of travel? For the two of Aaron and Harley as well, we'll also do some role play of how you got your subclasses in the first place. But what did you take with you? Did you bring anyone else? What, if anything, did you discuss during the salt-laced days of travel? I'll start with Aaron. Any answers to those questions first? Or if you need more time to think, I'll just jump to somebody else.
Yeah, let me get a little time on that.
How about Ember-Lynne? What did Ember-Lynne bring?
So Ember-Lynne didn't really bring all too much with her. She did, when she got back to Everstead, went to the little markets to get just like a little thing for Fail. She had to get him a little trinket like she said she would. And she actually got him a pick, like a guitar pick that he could use. So it's just a little tiny thing that she could put in her pocket. And she's bringing that home to Fail to add to his collection of all his musical things.
Amazing. And Harley/Titan?
I brought Harold's head. He's now my new friend. And we're on the ship, right?
You are on the ship.
Yeah. So we're actually on the crow's nest up top after sailing the seas, and I'm brushing his hair with a seashell comb, and I'm braiding it, and I'm telling him about my last orc ex-girlfriend.
Okay.
For advice on what I should have said to her when she asked me if I loved her. But now I regret not telling her Orca the orc, my ex-girlfriend.
Orca the orc?
Lynn is underneath listening to all this. She's like, I need to understand this boy if I'm ever going to help him find a girl and become a man worth a wife.
Okay, amazing. So you and Harold have been talking back and forth about your ex-girlfriend Orca the orc. And what I'll also say is, in this time period, this is a good time to jump in. You've had like a week or two to begin, and Harold has sensed a spark within you that has allowed, and he's begun to train you in the ways of the Echo Knight, or an ancient discipline that pretty much nobody else knows how to do. This is like ancient discipline of martial prowess that allows you to clone yourself effectively, creating an apparition of yourself that allows you, an echo, so to speak, and allows you to fight with twice as much. For the sake of roleplay, I'm also going to say you can use your echo outside of combat, sort of as a second character body out there. Like, I'm not going to let you do like everything with it, but like you can use it. Like, it's possible for you to like pick a lock with your echo and do something as yourself. I'm just going to have you take a penalty if you do it. But you've been trained by Harold in some of the ancient arts of Echo Knights, which is very rare in these types of parts. All right. Aaron / Dustin, what's up? What are you up to?
Okay. First, I brought my handy dandy mustache brush
Get
because
that out of here.
after our long travel, I did grow up some facial hair I think we should address.
reflects you in real life. Yeah.
I brought 2 books. Okay, one on how to calm my emotions and become a better me. Okay, I'm self-reflecting on this journey, and the other one was from our last campaign, our last session where we had found that one book, 1,000-year-old book that was being protected, which I also brought along to look extra smart in front of the others. Yeah,
Got it.
as if I can read it.
Right. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So journey consists of meditation and trying to deal with my inner turmoil.
Amazing. All right. Well, then I'll just ask for the group's sake. Did you want to bring anybody else from your experiences in Everstead and invite them along? Like, for example, you hung out with Morwen and she helped you defeat them. Do you want to see if Morwen's free? All that sort of thing. You could take like Gorik, the dwarf, who just wanted to eat food or whatever. You're obviously taking Harold the head, but if you wanted to take people along, you could, or at least ask any questions, anyone you wanted to take, etc.
Well, I asked Morwen to join us after everything that we went through. Does she come with us?
Yeah, I'll have
Let
you
me
roll
roll
for that
for
one
that?
as well. Like, let's just see if she's free. But I think this is like a really solid chance of like, yeah, this is pretty important to her. So
Okay.
let's.
What am I trying to roll?
I'm gonna read a 7 or higher.
Okay. And I rolled an 18.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, Morwen will come along, and she's on here too, and she's mostly been spending her time reading over a couple books and scrolls throughout the process of being on the ship.
Okay, so I go over to her and I'm like, hey girl, I'm so glad that you were free and that you could come with us. Like, you got it. You needed to get out of Everstead. And I think that this is going to be so good for you. What are you reading? What are you reading right there?
These are just some books of various magical combat disciplines that I learned and have been passed down to my family. So you saw we fought beside each other for the first time relatively recently. And if you've noticed the way that I've integrated my magic and combat being kind of synonymous, that's just a discipline that's been passed down in my family for ages. My family is our family of sorcerers. We have magical blood through our line, and most sorcerers, of course, are just like stand back and cast spells, but we kind of mix the art of combat into our spellcasting.
Wow.
So, reviewing these helps keep everything sharp, both on a magical and then more form-based level. And you'll note from Morwen that if you've ever been able to wake up in various early hours of the morning, like almost like a monk of some sort, she has been practicing like forms and like swordplay on the bows of the ship, or on the deck of the ship, like in the morning as like her warm-ups every morning.
Well, you know what they always told me when I was in university, a sharp mind makes a sharp fighter. And you are on a good trajectory, girl.
Okay. So you land and eventually end Karnak and exit the ship, the Salted Coin, saying farewell to Captain Jareth, the captain, and his crew as you exit into the docks. The docks are a maelstrom of life, merchants hawking exotic wares, mercenaries sharpening their steel, etc., etc. There are a lot of street performers, and they're weaving illusions for pocket change. You can hear the clash of steel from a nearby training yard, and there's a bunch of crowds and people blowing the docks. However, the most prominent sound is the distant roar of a crowd. It seems like a game is about to begin. Drakhar is not ruled by kings or emperors. The free cities never have been, but by the iron grip of commerce. So, the spectacle of blood sport is a moneymaker, and it is king here. Even if you've never been to Karnak or the Free Cities before, pretty much everybody knows about the ultimate tournament, the Kraken's Court, and the Tides of Glory, the ultimate tournament in which mercenaries compete against one another. You've also heard about a legendary contest called the Thunderbowl to claim the elusive and coveted Maelstrom Cup. As you move further into the city, the docks fade away, and you step towards the towering Adventurers Guild of Karnak, which is a fortress of stone built into the very walls of a stadium, clearly labeled AG&G. Through an arched entryway lined with banners from past tournaments, the guild's beating heart is revealed as you enter. It's a tavern called the Siren's Grin. The tavern is vast, it's multi-leveled, and it has weathered wood and iron all around it. Its beams are hung with old ship sails, and there are tattered uniforms of arena champions long retired. There's a massive viewing window that dominates one side of the room. It looks directly into the stadium and the Coliseum beyond, where a match is already in progress. And there's the rhythmic chant of the crowd outside that kind of like echoes in the way that if you've ever been in a stadium with a crowd, it kind of just echoes and reverberates throughout the stone itself. And as you step inside, you can hear the great, deep, metallic clang of a scoring bell. Someone just scored a point of some kind, and the whole crowd cheers. In one corner, you can see a group of mercenaries arm wrestle over a contract, while near the hearth, there's a bard strumming a lively tune, his lyrics weaving tales of upsets, underdogs, and last-second victories that have earned their place in Karnakian lore. And by the bay window is a large group of men rooting and hollering as they watch the event taking place in the stadium below. Because of your connection to the guild, you have free lodging here in the tavern, which could serve as a solid home base as you explore the free cities to find the amulet you're looking for. Remember, in our last session, you guys found a second amulet. Ember-Lynne had one that was the shape of a star. This one was in the shape of a moon. And you were able to track, and the Herald was able to tell you that that the amulet of the moon was his wife's amulet from back in the day, and that in theory you could find his amulet out here of some kind. The city is yours to explore, as is the tavern. What would you like to do first?
In the tavern, I'm looking around and I'm seeing all the different jerseys and memorabilia and people rallying and talking to one another. And I look and I see a very familiar jersey, and it's red and it's gold and it has a fireball on it. And I go, gosh, the Ashen Fury, are they playing here this weekend? That is my favorite team.
Indeed, the Ashen Fury is playing, and in fact, you could see that jersey is one of the most famous players of Stormball, the game of choice for the free cities of Drakhar, which is also relatively popular elsewhere outside of Drakhar. One of the greatest players of that particular sport. His last name is up there. It's Manastone, number 18. And Ember-Lynne and Phil Wickflame knew Peytonius Manastone a long time ago, because whenever he was in town, he would attend your sanctuary.
My goodness, y'all, that is literally my favorite player's jersey. You know, he would come to our sanctuary whenever they were playing on the weekends, and we got to lay healing hands on him. I mean, you kind of have to after getting knocked around out there a few times, but I wonder if he's here. I wonder if he's in this. Well, he's probably not in this tavern. He's probably training. Have y'all ever watched Stormball? Like, it is huge in the south where I'm from.
I'm gonna go to the bartender and just be like, I want to drink with the most alcohol. Let's talk.
Excuse
Go
me,
ahead,
did I overhear you, Titan, say that you don't like Stormball?
Listen, my childhood was full of trials and tribulation. Let's just say, when it came to Stormball, I was always picked last.
Because you weren't very good and nobody liked you.
No, actually, I was freak amongst my peers. You see, I had hit my growth spurt in the first grade to my adult height right now, and just never grew after that. And the kids would never pick me because, well, I'm 5'3", and first grade is pretty tall, and they thought it was just unfair.
Well, I would
continue my.
You never get your education after not getting picked for Stormball?
No, then the whole thing went parents and all that stuff, and then I lived with an orc swordsmith, so I didn't really, but I've been the same height since first grade.
Gotcha. Well, I would think that because you're so tall that you would have been like a prime player. Like, the whole thing is about like strength and grit and ability, and like from everything I know about you, I feel like you would thrive in that, especially in the first grade.
I was very clumsy. My skills had to be developed by my orc father. He made sure that he would refine me with intense training. But when I came to him, I was a klutz.
Well, you know something funny, Titan? My husband and I, the God of all truth, bless him, he actually has a different favorite team than mine, which, like, I can't believe. But it's actually, they're called the Thundermaw Titans. And, like, I feel like if there were any team that you were to ever cheer for, it would be them. the Thunderball Titans. I mean, like, it's in your name. You're in their name.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I could give it a second chance. 2 drinks, please.
Okay, what is Dustin doing as they had discussed Stormball and the events going on?
When I was just a boy, I only played one game. We would leave a friend deep, deep within the sacred forest of frost and see how many days it'd take if he would return. I lost 2 good companions to the frost, Carl and Junior.
Junior.
May they rest in peace. What is this game, dude?
I'm so sorry to hear about your losses, especially with Junior.
Like you haven't made any friends since.
Well, he has friends now, all right? Titan, you are now his brother, and I am your mother. Right?
Junior died.
Who are the other friends? Who are the other friends in your group? Kim Possible and Ron Stoppable? And the senior? Oh my god. Dr. Track and the Chigo?
Junior. They were my only friends and my last friends. I made it back, and when I didn't see them there, I vowed to myself I'd never make another.
I'm so sorry. Is that book helping you process all this grief and loneliness?
I found a chair. I've been throwing it to smithereens. I need to find another one.
Hey, well, you know what? Maybe the Stormball, a lot of the boys, the Farganasi boys, they were very, as you would assume, fiery. And sports was the way that they kind of could, like, get out of their system so they wouldn't be setting everything ablaze. So, yeah, maybe you could talk to some of the people here and they can give you a little rundown about the game. Maybe that's something both of y'all could look into considering your trauma and loneliness.
I would like to find the biggest person in this tavern and speak to that person.
Okay, you definitely can do that. That will be one of the guys who's watching the mercenary guys who's watching the game down below. You can go and approach them. And what do you say as you approach them?
Sirs, gentlemen, I've heard of a game called Stormball, which I know nothing about. It seems that it is a game of might, and so I've approached you rather large gentlemen. Is there any details of this game that you can share with me so that I might also indulge in your festivities?
As you speak to them, the whole group turns to look at you as if they're all like in a high school drama. They all just turn, right? And 2 of them step up on the guy you tapped his shoulder, right? 2 guys step up to with their arms crossed, protecting this guy, and the one guy says, "Hey, who wants to know, bruh?"
They call me Dustin, but my full name is all but Dustin Ash.
Your name's Dust, got it. And you're interested in Stormball, but you're speaking on behalf of yourself, right?
I have found that I have a lot of inner turmoil, and I learned that taking all my anger out on a specific task might somehow enlighten me. So I'm seeking to learn this game, and perhaps it will be a remedy to my pain.
Okay, I'm going to need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Saving throw. All right. Do I have what is my bonus for this, if I have any? Dexterity is a +4. All right. Alright, that's pretty good. Oh my god. Got a 6.
No.
Plus a 2?
Plus my 4, yeah.
Okay, so therefore, you, as in the mirror, in the middle of talking, explaining yourself, the other guy who did not talk to you but was still arms crossed will pick you, grab you by the collar of your shirt and throw you onto the floor across the room.
Unhand me, please.
And the first guy who spoke will say, "You are in clear violation of the rules, bruh. You're not supposed to talk to us unless you're an intermediary for somebody who actually knows what's up. And you obviously don't know what's up, so screw you, man. Don't talk to you."
How shall I know what's up if I do not know this game of which we speak? Enlighten me now, or feel my wrath.
Ember-Lynne runs up and sees this and goes, "Don't worry, I know how to speak to these guys. I speak Valeus Gal, which is Valley Girl." And I look and I go, My gosh, like, let him go. He, like, totally doesn't know what's going on here, and you need to tell him.
And the guy who was speaking will turn to you and be like, okay, like, yeah, I get your point, and you're pretty convincing, but that's still a wide violation of the rules. That's just not how things are done. So he needs to go. Also,
How about you violate this? Start throwing chairs at him.
Okay. And one of them will block a couple of them, and with that, the guy who you tap the shoulder on will finally turn around, and he'll look at you, and he'll look at your group, and he'll ask, "Are you all together?"
Take on someone your own size, you doofus. And so I'm going to attempt to use my new shadow clone to go up to him, give him a wedgie, and then put it over his underwear over his head.
All right, I'm gonna need a stealth check for you to do this, and if so, and then I'm gonna need a sleight of hand check to do this quickly. But we'll try.
So it's a 7. Do I get a +7?
Yes, you get a +7 if that's all right. If that's what you're going for.
That's stealth. So I'm doing a D20 +7, and I will be getting a 10. And then for sleight of hand, that's another +7. Roll in a D20 +7, and I will be getting a 25.
Nice.
All right. Yeah, so 3 + 7 is 10. 18 + 7 is 25. Okay. Yeah, okay, so you successfully sneak up in the middle of the chaos. I needed a 10. It wasn't that hard. They're not paying that much attention. You're all over on the side. And your clone sneaks up, and you go. And this guy gets extremely upset, and everyone else is upset. And this guy will say, I, Sarad Rage Master Smite, challenge you to the right of fight. You will not hear this is not the last time you heard from me. And they will all storm out. Six Strainers, let's get out of here. And they'll all leave.
Wait, I apologize for my act of violence. Please teach me this game. Don't abandon me. I've been abandoned so many times in my life.
And as you call out to apparently they're called the Sing Streeters, a man will help pick you up and like dust you off a little bit. And he'll say, well, looks like you got yourself into a complicated situation here, don't you? Your name's Dustin, right? And he'll extend a hand, and he'll shake it and say, my name's Peytonius. It's good to see you, Miss Ember-Lynne.
Oh my gosh, Peytonius! I can't believe that you are here of all places. How you been?
Wonderful, really. I mean, we got a game coming up this weekend, which will be real good. But y'all haven't been to Karnak or the Free Cities before, have you?
No, this is our first time. Oh my gosh, I know this is probably the biggest favor that I could ever ask for. But you know how you got me and Phil some like tickets like right there on the sidelines? Well, my two boys here that I've like kind of like taken in as my own, which you know me, I love caring for the young folk. They've never been to a game. They never grew up playing it. They don't know the rules. They don't know nothing. Could they come? Could you get us some tickets?
Here's what I'll say, right? Well, as you know, I've been retired for like 5-7 years. So the team, Ash and Fury, they just have me on as like a ambassador type position, right? And that's great. I get a chance to do that. I could definitely get you tickets to the game, but here's the deal, right? You didn't mean any harm. Well, you did when you threw the chairs, and you did when you pantsed the man, but when you talked to the man, you didn't mean any harm, right? But in Drakhar, you can't just walk up and start talking to people. Folks don't take kindly to that. It's not personal, it's just the rules. Around here, your rank decides everything. Who gets the best rooms, gets contracts, who speaks first, who gets the final word, all about rank, right? And the stadium over there, that's where you prove your rank. Play Stormball, right? So it's not just a game. It's a whole system of how things work in the Free Cities now. And people decided a little while ago that, like, instead of shedding blood for the most part, they wanted to just have other way to kind of settle disputes. And Stormball has become that way. It's a holy way to solve disputes, and get all that anger out of you so that you can kind of just live a normal life, So what just happened to you is Saren Smite over there. He's part of the Hail Airy Sing Straiters, the good team. One of the teams from Silverstone, I think, over there, Silverbridge, whatever that city is over there. He challenged you to a right of fight And that means, well, you got to play him in a ceremonial game of Stormball. And if you don't win the game, well, you'll be officially demoted in rank. And right now, your rank is like 0, but it can go in the negatives. And if you're in the negatives, then, well, you'll be, for all effective purposes, you won't be kicked out of the big national guild, but you won't have any access to any guild services around here. You won't get any help. You can't go on quests. You're kind of like semi-criminal status. Like, no one will throw you in jail or nothing, but you got to have a mark. It's kind of like getting a mark or like a gray mark on you. So the bright side of that is you have just been challenged to a game of Stormball that if you refuse to show up, you'll be demoted. But the bright side is that you get to play some Stormball and you can try it out. And, well, given that you have helped me and Phil have helped me out so much in the past, and, well, Phil especially has been a confidant of mine for many years, I would really appreciate just being able to help you all out. If you're down, I can't play anymore, but I'd be glad to help recruit some people and coach you on the field and get you up to speed on some things. I think between you and me, also, I don't really like that Saren guy. He's a little bit of a. There's this animal. It's called a peacock that likes to put out its feathers and just kind of strut all around. That's him, but in human form. So I would love to take that guy down a peg or two, both on the standings, but also,
And the rank.
And the rank and his ego. So I would be down, but I know it sounds like a lot, but there's a lot of systems here. So, but can I ask in the first place, what were y'all doing here in the first place?
Well, we just got done with a quest, and we decided to sail down here because we're looking for something kind of that we don't even really know. We and then she kind of leans him in because we're in a tavern full of people. You know how back at my sanctuary, I'm kind of in charge of going through everything and making sure that we get all the donations. Well, I found this amulet, and my buddy here, Dustin, the one who threw a chair, also found an amulet, and we believe that there's a third one out there, and we think if we find all three, it might lead us to the moral compass. We're trying to find that. So if you could kind of keep that on the down low. I know that some people have their own motivations trying to find something like that if they even believe in it. But, I mean, you know me, we're just trying to make things right. So that's kind of why we're here in the first place.
Well, then, I mean, yeah, you got to make this play before the storm hits, because otherwise the storm's going to make the play for you, so to speak. So, yeah, okay, all right. I mean, now that you mention it, I'm looking at that amulet, and he'll take a slightly closer look and look at it a little bit. You got another one of these. You're saying there's one more. Okay, well, you know that I used to hold the honor of the most valuable Stormball player, the MVP for short, right? But the title of that is also known as He Who Wears 7 Chains, otherwise the 7 Chains. So I was 7 Chains back in the day. That was my nickname for a while because I was the most valuable player. Well, there's a current 7 Chains, and when I wore the 7 Chains, I had an amulet like that was in part of the 7 Chains.
So there's more than one of these?
There's just one that looks like that. There's 7 different chains of ancient relics and fancy stuff. Some of them were every year they got a sponsor of some fancy jewelry bank to put on a nice fancy big old thing, and we'd have to wear it everywhere, sponsorship deals, things like that. But one of them was always this ancient amulet that looked cool. I think it had a sun on it or something. But maybe it was a star, something like that. I don't remember exactly. The current 7 Chains.
I think I have someone who can pull out Herod's head from my bag.
Well, hello, sir. You appear to be missing essential parts of your body. But, yeah, sure. And Harold will say, it's a little breezy now, but it's all okay. And I don't even remember what Harold's voice sounds like. I'm going to recapture his voice. We'll find it at some point. Peytonius can draw a little sketch, and he'll be like, oh, yes, that's... There we go. There's the voice. That's... That looks vaguely familiar. Looks like mine. Though I did have a lot of jewelry back in the day. I like jewelry. Once when I was young, we had this jeweler who I knew, and he loved to make jewelry of the best kind, and he and he crafted this single ring. It was a really beautiful ring, gold inscriptions and things like that. And you're looking at me funny. Did I say something? It was like one ring only, you know?
Did y'all have to destroy this ring?
No, of course not. Why would we destroy a ring? Why would you do that? I mean, it's a beautiful object.
You know, I heard this one time, maybe it was just a fairy tale of like these people having to throw like a ring in a giant molten lava pit. And I don't know. You know, it all gets mixed up when you're my age.
I didn't realize what you did there.
And Peytonius will say, "Oh yeah, when they like put the ring in like the wardrobe, and then they went into a magical land of alternative dimension or plane or whatever, and then they met the moral compass or something, and Santa Claus or something like that, and then they had a good time. I don't know what that Santa Claus dude is doing, but sure. So anyway, if you're gonna get that chain and that particular amulet, I'm gonna be honest, the only real way you'll be able to do that is become the 7 Chains yourself, because the current 7 Chains ain't the nicest guy around. He's not likely to just hand it to you.
So we have to basically be the best at this game that these boys have never heard of nor played in their life.
If you want to get it, or at the very least, you're going to have to find a way to acquire it in other ways. Well, here's what I can do, right? There's a big old event that's coming up before all the games that are coming up later, just tomorrow. There's a big game coming up. Not anything for the Ashen Fury or anything, but other game. There's going to be a bunch of people there, and some of my friends have invited me to come hang out at their tailgate, and we'll get a chance to go hang out. You know, they got for those of you who don't know, a lot of people around here, they like their Dracodons, their beast mounts that they ride that are like descendants of dragons and stuff. So they ride those around and things like that. And I've got one myself. It's pretty nice. And
Hold up, you got yourself a dragon?
well, no, Dracodons don't have wings and they can't fly, but they can move real fast on the ground.
Oh, my
Some
God.
people like to think that they're like worth multiple horses in terms of power. So they got a lot of horsepower, as people say, because, you know, normal people use horses. People use, Dracodons. And so we got multiple horsepower out of that. My current Dracodon has like 335 horsepower. It's pretty nice.
That's amazing.
It's a
You know
big
what?
lizard.
That is a big lizard.
I used to eat lizards.
Well, this one might be a little too big for you to swallow.
Talking about lizards and swallowing, and I'm like, okay. Anyway, if you guys want to come, I can get you in, and then you might be able to help me convince some of my old friends and/or teammates to join us and play. They'll be in retirement, but they could always come back in to play a little bit. Most of them are recently retired, and they can play. I definitely can't play. I got a serious neck injury that means I can never really play again. But these guys, they can. They just retired because they got a little older and stuff. But they'd probably be glad to help us out. They'd love to get back on the field a little bit. And none of us really like the new 7 Chains anyway. He's a little bit of a
Tool.
Yeah, that's a good way of saying it in a nice, polite way. Yeah. So we would love to take Sean Watterson down a little bit. So we would love to hang out with them, and maybe you can convince them. Yeah. So, but I can come back tomorrow, take you to the tailgate, and we can hang out. How about that?
What do y'all think, boys? Y'all want to play and, I don't know, boost our rank? Like, what else are we supposed to do in this city?
This game, Stormball, must we cooperate with a team in order to win, or is this more of a one-man job?
Well, it's considered one of the ultimate team games, so I would say there's no I in team, but therefore you're going to have to, work together.
Okay, but there is in Dustin and Titan, so you need to teach them some teamwork, all right? Thank you so much for your time and for helping us. Is there anything that you need from us while we're here?
No, I mean, we're doing good at this team and stuff, but I'll make sure to hit you and fill up when I'm back at Kelly's Reach. It'll be nice.
Please do. You know we always got a place for you to stay.
Of course. All right. Take care, y'all. And he'll head out.
All right, boys. Looks like you're about to play a game that you've never even heard of, that you don't know the rules of, and we're going to learn tomorrow. All right? So this kind of rests on you two, because if I remember the rules correctly, I don't know if I'm allowed to play. So...
And in fact, as Morwen is also here, right? And she will lead a couple of younger, like middle school aged boys into the room. And she'll say, hey, these young children have challenged Dustin and Titan to Stormball. Apparently, you offended their dad.
We offended their dad and they want to fight us?
And the one of the young kids will go up there and say, yeah, you went there and insulted my dad directly, so we're gonna take honor in his place. And he's got like 7 little kids with him, all like middle school age. They all like puff out their chests, and they kind of like try to like strong arm their way into Dustin and like push him back with their chests out, and like they've challenged you to Stormball.
I'll look at them and I'll say, the last man who challenged me to Stormball, and I'll pull out Harold's head. Ended up like this.
Let's roll an intimidation check. That's a great
Awesome.
move. It's gonna have the like. I'm gonna give you a +3 bonus for that. That's pretty scary.
Imagine if you rolled a 1, I would die.
That's
Okay, 16 plus 3.
Okay. So they'll all like look, and like 6 of the kids will just be like oh my god, like. But the one kid will look at it, and he'll look at you, and he'll look at the head, and he'll say, and you could tell like he was like all confidence and bravado before, but now he's like. So he's like. Even still, you dishonored my family and my dad. We still challenge you, and you can't intimidate us. We challenge you with the right of fight right now. And he'll like challenge you anyway, and he'll like throw a little like a bag of dust on the ground, just go, and then kind of go.
You foolish boy. You will experience divine punishment.
dang, Harold, couldn't you have acted a little more scarier?
I'm sorry, what? I was asleep. What's going on? Oh, hello, children. How are you doing? And the kids are like, oh my god, it talks, and they all run away. Meet us at the stadium in 45 minutes, and they'll run away.
I don't know if
Damn.
we should even show up. Those are children. We can't fight children.
Morwen will say, okay, well, they did, if I heard correctly, they did just challenge you to the right of fight, so we kind of have to take them on in some way, shape, or form. And if I understand correctly from Drakharian society, those are considered full-fledged adults for the purposes of Stormball and contest.
Right.
Even though they're young. So, if I understand correctly, though, Ember-Lynne and I cannot play. We're not allowed. So we just need to learn the game, I guess, and then we'll play. We'll need an explainer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish I could play with you boys, but I'm not allowed to.
Why is that? Who has come up with these rules?
That's a good question. It's and you might find this funny, but it's because I'm a woman. I'm not allowed to play this game, so I kind of have to just sit on the sidelines and watch y'all. But if you all win a good ranking, then I also get value in that. I mean, not as much as you all, but at least because I'm part of your team and part of your, the guild and part of this campaign that we're doing together, I get some of the value from it. So, like, you two really need to do well.
How many people are on a team?
So there are multiple versions of Stormball. You'll eventually need 11 people to play as a minimum. But against these kids, you can play with just you 4 versus them, and it's okay because it's a much more informal type of game. When you play the Sting Streeters, though, you're going to need 11. And to be fair, though, I'm going to probably just help you fill out the rest with like rando people you've recruited via some of these other people. But you're going to need to recruit at least a couple people. We'll do those interactions.
Wait, who are the other 2 for this one?
For this one, we're going to hand wave that and say you have a couple people who are willing to play with you, or
Tie Harold's head on top of Miss Ember-Lynne's head, and then play.
I know the rules.
If you want to try and disguise Ember-Lynne as a man, because women are not allowed to play, and you put Harold's head on top, and we put her in like a trench coat situation, we can try.
Is this like
What do you say, Aaron?
this isn't like the Greek Olympics, is it?
No, good. No, this is American football. So
Oh, okay.
okay, so what I would require for you guys to do is you're going to have to go to the marketplace and find a disguise kit in order to get this stuff done. I'm going to say a disguise kit of a high grade is worth around 10 gold pieces. Now, you've acquired 5 gold pieces each, and Morwen did as well. So 20 gold pieces amongst your party because you traveled, you protected the ship as it went across the Storm Shard Sea. So you have plenty of cash on hand to do this, but just to kind of note that, you're going to spend that. And then we're going to roll a disguise check to see how well you disguise Ember-Lynne. And who is doing the disguising? This is going to be a deception check.
Right now, I have a +2 for deception. What about y'all?
Deception, I have a 1.
I have a +6.
You roll, please.
Okay, let's have Dustin roll. And I suspect that he has learned to camouflage and disguise himself in the icy forests in order to understand this. Very PETA and Hunger Games style, you know? Like,
Yeah.
except somehow baking bread helps him be a disguise master, but
Yeah.
Even with that +6, I got a 50.
okay, so 9 + 6 = 15. Okay, so yeah, you do a pretty good job, and we're gonna see. Basically, what I'm gonna do is we're gonna keep track of if there's ever a situation where people are just gonna like do a perception check, and if they get 15 or higher, they're gonna say, "Wait, that player is a woman," and they'll call you out. But if they don't, they don't.
I love that Ember-Lynne is like, all right, boys, I will do anything for you two. We will fight these children, and I will dress up like a man. But you cannot tell Phil.
Ember-Lynne, thank you so much. You are actually the best player on the team anyways.
Well, we still need to recruit one more. Who else are we going to get? We don't have another head.
I yell into the crowd, who wants to destroy a bunch of young boys? Easy ranking.
I will need you to make a persuasion check here to see if you can convince some random people.
So funny.
What's my persuasion?
Should also be pretty high.
My persuasion is also a +6.
Wow.
Coming in handy. 17. 11 + 6.
Okay. So
Nice.
with a 17, 11 + 6, are able to. A couple people will turn and they'll say, "Easy rank, huh?" All right, we'll do it, and they'll come over and play, and they'll just have you sign a guild document that says if they lose, they do not lose rank; they can only gain rank.
Whoa, they can do that?
Because they are here as a free agent to join your party, but they are just here for that purpose. Within the rules of the Stormball League, which is called the I lost the thread. No, I lost it. Let me find the information. Wait, so you after I had a chance to take off my hoodie too, because it's getting hot in here. We in the Northern Federation League, aka the NFL, you are able to play Stormball. And what was the question we were having before? It was all about like, why was I looking up the league in the first place? I forgot. We took a little break and I took up the hoodie. We were looking for. Here.
We can just keep moving forward.
We'll just keep moving forward. So this is the part of the Northern Federation League, right? And you are trying to get to the top of the Northern Federation League, aka the NFL, and you are going to play Stormball. So we're going to play Stormball against these little kids. But basically, oh yes, I remember. The reason that these guys can do this is the Northern Federation League allows for people to sign on to play for a team for one game only. And if they put to play two or more games, right, then their rank starts being associated with that team. So this lasts every season. So if there's a new season, you can sign on for a single game, because sometimes you need to sign somebody on because they get injured or things like that. Got to pick them up as a free agent off the waiver wire, so to speak, for all the NFL fans out there. And this gives a new definition for fantasy football. Jokes. All right, so let's quickly explain to the audience and to y'all just how the Stormball works from a gameplay perspective, and then we'll get right into it. So Stormball is going to simulate American football, and we're going to do that by giving each player 5 cards numbered 1 through 5. We don't have physical cards on hand, but the cards are there to help you understand the concept of the players can play a card, but when they play the card, it goes into a discard pile. They don't have cards anymore. So if they play the 5, they can't play it again until something happens. I'm going to have 4 copies of each card number 1 through 5 in a deck. I'm going to randomly draw 2 of them, and that's going to be the score that the the opposing that the party has to beat. That's going to represent how well the other team is playing. And on a very simple possession, the players will have cards in their hand. They're going to be on offense and they're going to try to score a touchdown. I will play 2 cards randomly from my deck that will be what the defense is and how good the defense is playing. They will have to beat the defense. If they win 3 hands in a row, they will score a touchdown, and we'll play 4 total rounds of this game to determine how this all works. However, for y'all, if there's a tie ever, you can make athletics or acrobatics checks to break ties. There's also some shenanigans of like you're playing a game, and if you want to try and role play your way through the game, I will obviously let that happen, and that will supersede the mechanics of what we're playing through. But anyway, hope that makes sense. Any questions for the game since I've explained it? All solid?
Figure it out.
Hopefully this is a way the audience can follow along. If you want to leave feedback in the comments of our YouTube videos or in Spotify, etc., I would love to know if you think this is too complicated or not. Because I like simulating random games and other things and trying to find a simple but fun way to do it. A lot of dungeon mastering philosophy behind all these types of things, but I always want feedback because players want to play. All right, so let's go for this. So you guys are going into like a side sand lot area where some Stormball, a field goal poster have been set up, and there's some basic lines in the ground. But this is just like a random like street ball situation here. And I'm going to roll really quick a check to see if the kids immediately recognize who Ember-Lynne is or not. So let's see what happens. I got a 14.
Gosh, they were this close. Needed
Close. This close. They did not get it. So they don't know who Ember-Lynne is. And they're like, oh my God, they got one of the kids will be, oh my God, they got that severed head. They zombified him. They're necromancers. And they have taken they're going to be a little intimidated here. So I'm going to say, unless they're able to rally themselves, all the score cards that they have, I'm going to have their total score be reduced by 2 because they're scared of Harold.
And I see this and I like whisper to Harold because like maybe it's like with our disguise kit that we bought and like did me up. It was like we wrapped like cloth around my head so I can still see and breathe and talk and everything, but they can't see my face. And I whisper to Harold, okay, you just move your mouth and I'll do all the talking. And then, does he do that? Does he oblige?
He'll say, I don't really know what's going on, but I will do my best.
Just keep that mouth open and let me do the talking. And then I yell at these children, to destroy you. I'm your nightmare. And then I look at the boys and I go, was that good? Was that intimidating?
Let's roll an intimidation check for this as well. I'm going to give you an extra point I'll increase their penalty by 1 if you're successful. Okay. I'm going to also give you a +4 bonus to your intimidation just because they're already scared. So let's go for
+2. So does that make it +6 or is it just +4? Okay, +6. Okay, and I rolled a 6. So 6 + 6, 12.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say as long as you get over the 50% threshold, like they're already scared. They're a bunch of middle schoolers. They're like, oh my God! And one of them was like, oh my God, it's Longneck. I know him. They revived Longneck from the dead. Longneck is one of the greatest players ever. How did they do this?
I just start going like this in my head for all of the audio listeners. I just start swirling my head around so it looks like my neck is going crazy.
Yeah, they're like,
They just shoot fire surrounding you. Like,
I start shooting fire out of my hands. I'm like literally like whipping my hair back and forth, but it's just Harold like swinging around.
okay.
And I let out a guttural yell.
So this is totally, Andre the Giant in The Princess Bride when he's got the big flying cloak and everyone's like, oh my God, and they all run away. Like, that's very much Princess Bride. This is wonderful. I love that. 2, the kids are very scared, but the son of the Sing Streeter will go up there and say, all right, everybody, he might be a Longneck, but he's dead, so we could still win, everybody. And he's gonna rally the team. Everyone's like, okay, we'll play, but oh my God. We're gonna start. Go for it.
look at the main kid, the son. and just say, you want to spice up our deal? If we win, you give us some candy. And if, not only you give us candy, but if we win, all you guys, your rankings are going to go down to negative 100. So by the time you start adulthood, you would have to climb 100 ranks.
Are you okay, mister? Like, I know we're playing a game and all, but you seem a little out of it.
You guys made a big mistake messing with me, Longneck, and Dustin. We're doing this for Junior, and Carl. Let's go.
Carl's Jr.? Oh my God. For the fast food restaurant for Carl's Jr. Oh my.
Is our sponsor. I just start yelling this. And I look at the girl and I say,
Jr.
I say, guys, what's our team name? We need a team name so people know who to cheer for. What's our team?
What did you say? What did you say, Harley? I couldn't hear you.
Nothing but Dusty. Does anyone have an idea?
Junior.
Triple J.
For J, for Junior.
I'm just trying to get.
I yell, we are Triple J! But there's 4 of us.
Yeah.
Who's this guy?
Oh my God. There's the wrestler who's got like a triple wrestler. Is it Triple J? Who's the wrestler in WWE? Triple H. Triple H is a wrestler? And you're like pulling your J. Okay, amazing.
But we have a +1, correct? There's just like some other random dude with us.
Yeah, you have a random
Jay and Eric.
Yeah, Eric. Okay, so let's go straight into the game for the sake of this. The kids are pretty intimidated by you, but we're gonna go. So each of you we're gonna start with you guys being on offense. This will be a little bit of tutorial for how this game works too, before we get into anything with like serious stakes. Each of you has the cards numbered 1 through 5, and I'm gonna draw 2 cards randomly from a deck to determine what we get. So the cards that I have drawn for round 1 are going to be 4 and 3. So we have a total of 7. You must beat a total of 7. And how would you like to play the cards? Reminders are, if you decide to tie the score, you can try an athletics or acrobatics check to try and break the tie and win, if you would like to try. But of course, that's a dice roll. You could just win this possession right away.
We're just trying to beat that score. That's it.
Yes. You want to beat a 7, and this is going to be your possession. You need to win 3 rounds of this possession.
So there's 4 of us in total because we have like our hypothetical guy.
For the sake of mechanics, only you 3 can play cards, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Why did they only play 2 cards?
Because that way the math works out in a way that you guys have some advantage.
Okay.
Now, if we're going to play against real teams, other teams, I might play more cards. But these guys are vastly intimidated by you, and they're also just kids, so they only get 2 cards. But later on, you might be playing teams who get to play 3 cards, or 4 cards, or whatever.
-1 though, so they have a 6 instead of a 7.
Yes, because of their great fear, and because of Ember-Lynne's impression of it being Longneck, they actually get -2. So this is actually a 5.
So we could play like a 4, a 1, and a 1, and that would be 6.
That would be correct. Yes, and each of you must play a card. So you want to figure out what's the maximum way to win.
So probably.
Could roll like, how about we do like a 3, 2, and a 2?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm down for that.
Well, I think 4-1 is.
Yeah, but we want to keep those high numbers to exceed them later in the future when they pull out high numbers.
But it's like if we're using 2-1.
Yeah, we're already getting rid of 2 of our 1s then. So then we'll have like more higher numbers.
Are we getting rid of 2?
Because like if we're
5.
You're saying one of us plays.
so we need a 6. We either need a 5 to tie or a 6 to win. So if we do 4, 1, and 1, then it's not like we will only be stuck with low numbers after that. Like if we did 3, 2, and 2, then it's like, okay, we don't have a 3, 2, and 2. We have like more 1s than 2s and 3s that could be higher odds.
I'm trying to beat a 7, not a 6.
Well, he
No,
said
because of the penalty, the intimidation penalty, you actually have to beat a 5.
What?
because this technically like 5 is a low number. So like, yeah, we would be sacrificing a 4, but at least we would be getting rid of 2 of our 1s. So we have greater odds for like whatever, because he could pull like 2 5s in the next one, and it's like, okay, a 1 wouldn't really do much.
Sure.
Okay.
So my 4 then. I'm keeping track of it, and then you get rid of your 1.
Okay.
I get rid.
Yep. So that will mean you'll win this first possession. As I'm going to have it so that Titan is playing the Stormcaster position, aka the quarterback position, and we'll have Dustin play like a wide receiver type position. What position will Longneck play?
I feel like Longneck should do the wide receiver, and Dustin
Like on that long
like
neck.
linebacker.
Okay, we'll do that. Let's do that. And what's the play call that you guys are going to have? What kind of play are you going to have as you successfully do this? You're going to make your way down the field in a pretty good way.
It'll be called open mouth, because I will yell at Harold to open his mouth wide so that he catches it with his mouth, because my neck is so long.
Okay, yeah. So you throw a pretty big bomb down the field, and he just catches it in his mouth.
Exactly.
Tackle. You get tackled to the ground. Amazing.
I just want to be trucking these kids as they try to get her. Rucking them, yeah. Like they're coming to try to tackle her and slamming them. German
Okay.
suplexing them.
Hey.
Or like you throw them in there and you break their back over there.
Or like Bane style.
We're like, that's not this game.
Yeah, I like the idea that Dustin is a little bit too violent, for sure. What kind of trash are you talking?
I'm gonna say all your little heads are gonna be on a bunch of new necks when I'm done with you guys.
You will never be like your father.
Wow. Okay. So we're gonna go to the next round because you've won. I drew cards. Wow, that's extremely low. That's going to be a 2 and a 1. So they actually only have 1 point because they're still intimidated. So you just
That's why
need
I
a
thought
1.
we should keep our 1s.
We played them regardless.
Mhm.
Because we all 3 have to play cards.
You must all 3 play a card. Yeah. So
So we could do like a 1, a 2, and a 2.
Yeah.
okay. So if you're gonna play those cards, you will also successfully win this. What's the next play we're gonna run here? We've already done open mouth to catch the ball in the mouth. What's the other one?
What's it called when the quarterback just runs it?
A QB keeper or QB draw, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Runs it. We'll do one of those. We'll do a little fake. Because now they're scared of long neck, and we'll do a little, we're going to toss it. And they're all going to be like on long neck, and I'm just going to.
And I'm just gonna be literally whipping them with my neck out of the way.
Yeah. You're like semi-really clotheslining all of them because you have the cloth.
Exactly.
Kind of goes with, okay, cool. And you, okay, so you drop back, you fake the screen pass to Longneck, who starts trucking, and all the kids run over in that direction, and you take a QB keeper, a Stormback keeper, Stormcaster keeper, and you run up the middle and for some good yardage, and you make it your way down there. Okay, so you won two of the 3 possessions, 2 of the 3 rounds for this possession. We need 1 more, and this time the draw is a 5 and a 3, so that makes it 8. And 8, but reduced by 2, so this is just a 6.
And we get all our cards back after this.
I will too, but that's correct.
We just need more than 6 because we're gonna get all our cards.
Well, we all got 3s, right? So let's just do
Yep.
yeah, because we all don't have a 2 or a 1, right?
I have a 2.
You have a 2? So let's do
Yeah.
2 3s and a 2.
What in that? Would they draw this time?
This is also the last one, so we could just
It matter.
They have a 6. They have a 6 total. You just have to exceed it.
so yeah, let's just
Yeah.
do all our 3s
Do my 3s.
for junior, bro. For junior.
How does your team score and score a touchdown in the end zone? How do they score?
That's it real close to me, and I'm just gonna like just straight demolish these kids along the way. Like they're trying to come up on me, and I'm just stiff arming them all the way to the end zone.
Yeah, let's have it so you run and like you juke a couple people, you knock a couple people over, but then the son, whose name is Radian, right? He'll come to tackle you, and you'll just like stiff arm him, and you'll like stiff arm him down the field as he tries to tackle you. Amazing. Okay, so that was the first possession. You won 1, and as you come back after the possession, you have a little bit of time before the next possession change. If you'd like to talk or regroup or do anything strategically or just chat, you can. If not, we'll go to the next possession. Ready for what's next, or would you want to talk or do anything as characters in between possessions?
Say, for some boys who've never played before, y'all are acting like an all-star team. I go, how you doing, Harold?
I think this game seems fun. Boy, do I love interacting with the young people.
Good, just don't say anything.
Open mouth, got it. Omaha. Okay, let's go to the next possession then. And you're now going to be on defense. What positions do you guys play on defense? Are you going to be on the defensive line? Are you going to be a linebacker? Are you going to be a corner up in the secondary? What would you prefer? And if you need explainers what that is, I'm always glad to explain.
Explanations. I don't know football like that.
We're theater kids, Kyle.
I am a theater kid as well, but I love football. So there's the guys who rush the passer and try to sack the quarterback. That's the defensive line. There's the linebackers who are just behind them. Sometimes they rush the passer. Sometimes they try to defend the pass. And then there's the guys who are all back called the secondary, and they're in charge of making sure nobody catches the ball. That's the basic rules. So you have a hybrid in the middle.
I'll be in the back because I got that long neck. I can interfere it maybe.
Nice. I'll do whatever. I just want to be aggressive.
Be aggressive. Be aggressive.
There's your cheerleading backer coming in. You know, you guys were going to be. I'm going to have both of you, both the guys, be on the defensive line because that's just Ember-Lynne / Longneck is going to be in the secondary, and we're going to see what is the draw. The draw is going to be. Oh, this is a big one. You know what I'm going to do beforehand? I'm going to roll also to see if they're still intimidated. So let's keep up the intimidation check from Longneck, and let's roll another intimidation check. This time, I'm just going to have you roll with your normal bonus +2 because they've had a chance to play you a little bit. Maybe the Radiant is on the side of rallying his troops, being like, "We can do it, guys. We let them score, but we're not out of it."
Okay, so I'm gonna roll my d20 +2. 10 + 2 is 12.
Well, okay. I'm gonna say you're not gonna keep the big bonus of -2, but you will keep the bonus of -1 because you're still intimidating them. And we're going to see what happens. So anyway, I drew a 5 and I drew a 4. So that means the total, it was 9 - 1, aka 8. You must beat an 8 for this round. They are going to run a triple option play, which means they're going to hand the ball off to somebody and they're going to hand the ball off to another person. And that person's going to try and run. They're doing a little trickery here.
I say we do a 3, 3, and a 2, right? And then we just athleticism check them.
Who has good athletics? I don't.
I have acrobatics at 9 and athletics at 7.
7. I'm a 2.
Yeah.
So we just call it blitz. We do a blitz, right?
So a 3, 3, and a 2.
And leave it a chance to see if.
Okay. I'll play it 2.
So 3 from the guys, 2 from Kirby / Ember-Lynne. And all right, so we're going to have this you guys are going to. Ember-Lynne knows and understands Stormball, even if Kirby, the player, does not. So she's going to tell them to do what's called a stunt, which means they're going to swap places on the line. Right before the snap, they're going to switch places so the people who are supposed to stop them get really confused. And then you just try and bull rush your way through them to stack Radiant, who's playing quarterback, Stormcaster in this case. So let's roll an athletics check or acrobatics check to push your way through.
Come on.
Next check. I'm gonna do a freaking triple flip over them and freaking punch, tackle Radiant. We're probably the same size anyway.
You're probably the same size, yeah.
Oh yeah, because you're 5'3".
That's 30. Okay. 20. He needs to have an injury.
So that's still really good. That's a 16, and you're gonna swim move through the opposition. You're gonna one guy comes up to block you. You're gonna flip over him, and you're gonna like spider monkey tackle him in the air. Just go kaboom and slam him to the ground. That should not have worked from a scheme perspective or like a strategy perspective, but your athleticism won the day, and you have won 1 possession here. Okay, let's go to the next round. Will.
And I yell in my manliest voice, "That's my boy!"
Thank you. I mean, Longneck. Longneck.
Wait, so that last round you used the 5 and a 4, right?
Yes. Yes. So it's more likely that they will not have those. Okay, we drew another 5, and this time a 1. So 6 total, but -1, so 5 total.
Okay.
We could do a 4 and a 1 and a 1.
Want to do that?
I'm down.
my athleticism. So
Yeah, that's also, I don't know, -1, so it's a 5.
So they have a 5.
So a 4, a 1, and a 1, I think is a great.
Okay, so I'll play a
Should I
1.
take? What are you gonna play?
a 4, 1, and a 1.
Yeah.
Did anyone take a 4 yet?
No.
I'll take my 4.
Okay, cool. So I'll take the 1.
Yeah.
So I have a 2, a 4, and a 5 left.
Yeah, and I have a 3, a 4, a 5.
I got 1, 2, 5.
Okay. And so that number, the total is 6. You said, or is it? Or you're 5, 7. Okay, yeah. So then you exceed.
Wait, right? No, it's
No, it's 6.
It's 6 because it's a -1 for their 6, so they have 5 and we have 6.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yep. So you're able to exceed this, and in that case, and you are able to tackle to play the. They're this time they're gonna try a flea flicker, which is where they hand the ball off to the running back. The running back throws it back to the quarterback, and the quarterback tries to throw a deep pass. How do you want to disrupt this play? Would you like to disrupt it via tackling the quarterback, the running back, or would you just break up the pass? The breaking up the pass would probably be Ember-Lynne's / Longneck's deal, while the tackling the running back or the quarterback would be a Aaron or a Dustin or Titan thing to do.
Did Longneck fire boost themselves up into the air and just punt the ball?
Like Iron Man, I take my hands with fire, but like I just jump, and then I like go, yeah, like I literally swing my neck and I hit him out the air.
Highest point of trajectory, the highest point that the ball was. You can do it.
Yeah. And the kid, he's a pyromancer too, and just like smack the ball away. A necromancer and a pyromancer. Okay, let's go for the next thing then, which will be you guys will have one more possession. Let's see what happens, and for the sake, because I think we're learning the game, I think we'll also, if you guys are able to stop them, I think they're going to just give up. But we're gonna see what happens. Okay, they drew a 5. Wow, all 5s, and a 3. So that's 7 total, which means you should automatically be able to.
That is with mine.
Let's
So we're just 5, 5, 5.
5 it.
Okay, let's do it this way then, because you got the 5, 5, 5. That means you're going to win easily, right? And you've maxed them out, so you're going to. So let's give Dustin his moment in the sun too, and he will run through the line, tackle the Brady into the ground, but the ball will pop out and he'll be able to catch it. What does he do after the ball is in his hands? He can now run away and score in theory, but does he know how to play? I don't know.
I think I just stay and like talk trash to him while I hover over him. You could never live up to Junior. You're just a weak boy. Weak. You would never survive the frost.
You should have a.
That's bad. You need a mint.
What were you gonna say?
Chad, we don't.
I like to think now too, like he's like the kids are trying to tackle Dustin, but Dustin's kind of just like throwing them off and still talking trash, and he's just like, ugh.
Does he need to run the ball?
So technically, he at some point he needs to go down and to the ground, or he needs to score for the play to end. He's not doing that. He's just talking trash. So at some point, somebody needs to get him to score or just go down.
Yell. They started this, and you must finish it.
I never turn my back towards an enemy. Run backwards while just still talking dirt.
You should have like a flashback, and as you're running backwards, you're back in the frost, and you see Junior and Carl running alongside with you.
But it's me. It's me, a Titan, and we're cheering you on. But like,
Turn around and I run through the forest, past the demons that haunt me, past my father's lies towards me.
What a cinematic moment. Wow, okay, that worked out great. And that's also about time for what the first episode of this will probably end. Oh, okay. So you have defeated these young kids. They are vastly intimidated by you. And they just decided to give up halfway through because all the other kids, except for Radiant, have basically just decided to give up and run away. So Radiant is left behind all by himself, and he's just kind of sitting on the he's really angry and sad, and he's sitting on the field defeated as you guys win your first game of Stormball ever. Congratulations, you win your first game of Stormball ever. Harold will say, though, as you guys are kind of up there, it's like, look at the little boy. He's just so sad. I wish he would be okay. Someone should tell him they love him.
I go up to him. I'm gonna place a platter in front of him and unsheath my sword. I'm gonna say, I will grant you mercy this time. But usually I would be headed you. You would join that team as the undead. You did me. And I'll walk away.
Okay, I love how full circle at the beginning you're like, I want to be a necromancer assassin, and now we've made you a necromancer, like in people's minds, but you're not actually a necromancer, and I'm very excited about that.
Crazy.
Okay, with your first successful game of Stormball under your belt, and having won this rite of fight, you have officially been entered into the amateur national, into the like the lower levels of the Northern Federation League, aka the NFL. You've also got an invitation for yourselves to receive to go to the event and party, the tailgate the next day, courtesy of Peytonius Manastone, and you are able to retire in the inn for the night. As Dustin has had this magical experience, we will have a brief interlude here where as he sleeps, he will hear a faint voice calling out to him. Hello. Are you awake? I can see you.
I don't know who you are. I am asleep.
Indeed. This is a dream, and I have contacted you from afar.
Do you come from my father? Leave me alone. I am trying to recover from the trauma I've experienced as a youth.
It is not you who has me leaving you alone, as you have contacted me in your own way. You have begun tapping into my power.
Who is this that I speak with?
My name is something that I will reveal in time. However, I must know and understand who you are. Your father, you say. Am I like them? Who is your father?
He was a spirit, sacred, frozen woods, one sent to cause malice and destruction, to deceive. I am a spawn of his trickery, and so I carry the burden of his lies, of his anguish.
Well, you can rest assured that I am incapable by my very nature of speaking lies. I only say what is true. However, I don't always say everything. So be forewarned. But for now, I have taken interest in you as you have unknowingly tapped into me and my own power. Perhaps we will speak again. If you wish to contact me, you already know.
What? I do not. You come from the ancient of days.
And with that, the dream will fade.
Because I'll sleep in a hold, try to do some kind of power.
Mm-hmm. And as you do so, we'll say that this is the first time you ever misty step, and you just kind of go.
I fall off my bed into a misty step.
Yep.
Whoa, that flew by. Time sure flies on eagle's wings when you're having fun. That's a wrap on part 1 of our session, but don't worry, part 2 is on the way. If all goes well, and the compass blesses our mess, we're dropping new episodes every 2 weeks. If you made it this far, you're a real adventurer. So, go ahead and subscribe, and follow us on Instagram at Thy Staff of Power for behind-the-scenes fun, D&D reels, and sneak peeks of what's coming next. Until next time, may your path be clear, your rolls be high, and may the compass guide you now and always. Later, losers.